Today we're gonna be making 3 no-cook meals. It has been so hot and humid here in Tokyo. When it's that hot, I'm constantly looking for the ways to avoid the stove. All of them are vegan with loads of veggies, especially the last one is a taste of summer, so stay with me till the end. The video is sponsored by Boxu. We're gonna chat more about that later, but for now, let's jump into the delicious breakfast. The first one is a kabocha squash miso creamy spread. After you wash the kabocha squash, carefully cut kabocha into about 300 grams. Make sure the flat side down. Gently shift the knife, just be careful with your hand. Remove the seeds into the microwave safe container. Microwave it 600 watt for about 7 minutes or until the kabocha becomes fork tender. Alternatively, you can also steam it in the pot. Meanwhile, finely chop some celery. This celery will give a great texture to the spread. It's optional, but I highly recommend not to skip this. By the time your kabocha squash is ready, be careful with the steam. Scoop out the inside, then mash it with a fork or potato masher. I keep the skin and add it into the soup later. You could mash it into the spread, but the skin part is usually a bit more tough, so it won't be as smooth as it would be. I have a kabocha miso udon noodle soup that will be the perfect use of these leftover skins. Let me leave the link for you in the description box. Now for the seasoning, add 1 piece of cream cheese. By the way, I'll show you how to make a vegan version in a second, so stay with me. Mix it as you mash them together. 2 tablespoons of mayo plus 1 teaspoon of miso paste. Either yellow miso or white miso works great in this recipe. To make it creamy and smooth, we add 1 tablespoon of oil. Any neutral oil is fine. I only had the olive oil here. The flavor was a little bit too strong, so not the best one in this recipe. Mix it to combine. You can use any other squash, but depending on the kind you use, it contains more water or less, so here we're gonna assess the consistency. I'm adding about 1 tablespoon of milk, but feel free to add more or less milk you have on hand until you get the desired consistency. It's nice and smooth. Add chopped celery, then one more mix. This can be easily stored for about 2 to 3 days in the fridge. I actually made it the night before so that the coming morning, all I have to do is assembly, which is always a bonus. Now let me show you a plant-based version. We're just gonna do the same step until we season the kabocha squash. After mashing it, in goes 1 tablespoon of neutral oil to moisten a little bit, plus a pinch of salt, half tablespoon of miso paste, again preferably either yellow miso or white miso. 1 tablespoon of vegan yogurt. Here I'm using soy, and lastly 2 tablespoons of vegan mayo. I actually like the vegan version better. Of course, you don't want to forget to add the crunchy factor, which is a celery in this case. Both recipes are listed on my blog. The link is in the description box below. Next up, no-cook vegetable bean soups. Before we're moving on to the recipe, let me introduce you these Japanese snacks. I'm teaming up with a company called Boxu. Boxu will deliver the Japanese snacks from Japan to your front door. They work with the traditional Japanese factories over 100 years old to provide you with unique snacking experiences. For your first order, you will get the Seasons of Japan box. This is our second box, which is Summer Fruits box. Every month they will come up with a different theme, and we especially love this Summer Fruits box. Hi! Yay! ちょっと開けるよ。ママが開ける。せーの、パッカー。ねえ、いっぱいだね。すごいね。あったいっぱいあった。今日1個食べたい。いいよ、だから公園持ってこうよ。スイカのグミ。グミだよ。みんな。これは何？あ、これ食べたい。食べたい？There are more than 15 snacks in one box, carefully created from all over Japan, along with the cultural guide leaflet showing products' origin, ingredients, and even common allergies. No? Can you tell how much kids got excited by this? We brought a couple to the park and enjoyed the snack time. There is something for everybody, sweet ones for my kids and myself and savory ones for my husband. You can enjoy a little bit of everything. If you are interested, use my coupon code MIWA20 to get 20% off your first authentic Japanese snack box from Boxu. Take advantage of this limited time offer. Back to breakfast. In the coming morning, I'm gonna whip up a quick veggie bean soup. To the soup cup or mug, add frozen beans and peas plus broccoli florets already blanched and canned corn. You can add your choice of frozen veggies. Then sprinkle some stock cubes. Mine is already crumbled. Pour the water. I added about 1 cup, but usually go by eye since you can always adjust the taste at the end. Mix them well and pop them into the microwave covered 600 watt for about 8 minutes, just until the soup is nice and hot. Just a heads up, I recently launched a mailing list to keep you in the loop with the new post. I'm not gonna send you emails every single week. It will be grateful to stay in touch with you guys. The link is in the description box below. Meanwhile, let's work on the arrangement. I have a leafy greens and cherry tomatoes cut in half. I really don't think kids are gonna eat those greens, but I keep introducing them until they naturally pick up one day. We got this frozen bagel. Some of you ask me if my family eats bread. My kids actually love bread. Kids call this donuts bread. Toss it in the oven. I love the texture of bagel. What's your favorite bread?
なんか冷たいよ、そうちゃんまだ。
It's not heated through, so back into the oven for a couple more minutes. Spread some cream cheese if you want, then smother our KABOCHA spread generously on top of it. Sprinkle some crushed nuts. I usually make a sandwich with the tomato and leafy greens. Today, for the sake of the beauty of this video, I garnish it aside. The KABOCHA spread itself is quite filling and rich, so to impart the freshness, enjoy with any raw vegetable you have on hand. Don't forget the soups and enjoy. To make it even more decadent, drizzle maple syrup to enjoy the sweet and salty combo. To be honest, my kids didn't like it that much since they hate celery. If you're making it for your kids, maybe it's better to leave the celery out. I personally love to keep them in though. By the way, I'm finally brave enough to be on the camera without makeup on. Be natural just like you guys told me in the comment. For dinner, we're gonna make some vegan poke bowl together with the eggplant salad. Again, no heat, simple, easy, and taste heavenly. Starting with eggplant salad. I have Asian eggplant, trim off the top and cut in lengthwise. Flat side down, cut in half, and again cut in third lengthwise. The goal here is to cut everything about the same size as my finger. You could use bigger eggplants like you normally find in the Western countries. Those kinds tend to be more bitter, so try to pick a smaller ones, or if it's too bitter, soak the eggplant into the salted bath to remove the bitter compounds. I wrote the detailed direction on my blog, leaving the link in the description box below. Place them into the microwave-safe container. For the onion, we're gonna use just a half of it. Thinly slice and pile it on top of the eggplant. Drizzle 1.5 tablespoons of oil. Here I'm using rice oil, but use any neutral oil you have on hand. Dig in your hand and toss it to coat. When everything is fully coated with the oil, into the microwave it goes for about 5 minutes. Meanwhile, we're gonna make some marinade. We need soy sauce, rice vinegar, sugar, toasted sesame oil, salt, and grated garlic. To the container, add 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of toasted sesame oil, pinch of salt plus grated garlic or ginger. I tried both and it came out beautifully. If you want to know more about the Japanese condiments, please watch my pantry essential video. Whisk that together. Take out the eggplant from the microwave and transfer to the marinade when it's still hot. Make sure the eggplant is fully cooked and wilted as you lift it with the chopstick. Eggplant is gonna soak up all the flavor of marinade and juice is gonna burst in your mouth when you bite into it. This is so tasty. If you like it spicy as much as I do, add the chili flakes to your liking. Keep it in the fridge for at least an hour or possibly overnight. This will last 4 days in the fridge. Make a batch and enjoy throughout the week. I keep it very mild in taste, so feel free to add more vinegar or soy sauce to your liking. The last one is a vegan poke bowl. First, we're gonna mix some dressing. Into the small bowl, add 2 tablespoons of mirin. Mirin is a sweetened rice wine, so it contains some alcohol. To burn off the alcohol, pop them into the microwave 600 watt for about 1 minute. Alternatively, you can bring it to a boil on the stove. If you are concerned about the alcohol, just swap for the sweetener. Start adding less, like half teaspoon, then taste it along the way, as sweetener is usually a lot sweeter than the mirin. The sweetener will cut through the sharpness of soy sauce and balance out, so you cannot omit in this recipe. In the mixing bowl, add 1 teaspoon of grated garlic. I just use this pre-grated one, so handy to have one on hand, followed by cooked mirin, 3.5 tablespoons of soy sauce. It sounds like a lot, but this is for 3 servings. Half tablespoon of toasted sesame oil and wasabi paste. I just added 1/4 teaspoon. Mix them well. I almost forget the lemon juice. Have some taste and add more wasabi paste and grated garlic if it's needed. We're gonna mix with the loads of veggies, so it should be a bit salty at this point. One way to reduce the sodium is adding more acidity like lemon juice or vinegar and reduce the amount of soy sauce. Let it chill in the fridge. We're gonna chop up all the veggies. Cucumber diced. Mine is Asian cucumber. If you are opting for the thicker one and want to retain the crunchiness, try removing the seeds. 4 chisel herbs, stack up and roll, then shred it. You can substitute to any fresh herb in season. Trim off the end of broccoli sprout. Cut cherry tomatoes in quarter. The vegetable I'm using here is just an example for you to start off with, so be flexible what you add. One thing I never be able to skip is avocado.
美味しい？美味しいよ。めっちゃ美味しい。めっちゃ美味しい。
スプーン、それじゃ大きいスプーン持ってきて。アシスタント。あ、それ。ありがとう。
Remove the skin and seed, then dice them up. Lastly, protein source in the form of firm tofu. Cut into half-inch dice. You can also add raw salmon or tuna as opposed to the tofu, or even lentils if you can't tolerate the soy. This recipe is very forgiving, so feel free to switch it up however you like. Scoop steamed rice and let it cool down a little bit. Into the dressing, add everything we just chopped. Reserve some chisel herb and broccoli sprouts for the garnish. This is like the best part. All the vibrant green gathering in one bowl. Sprinkle some toasted sesame seed and one more mix. Top it generously on the steamed rice. I personally love when the steamed rice is completely cooled down so that all the vegetable will stay crisp. If you want to make ahead of time, just make sure to keep the dressing and veggies separately and combine all together when it's just about to be served. Don't forget the eggplant. Dinner can't be completed without soup, so I personally made it to pair with them. If you want, I have a homemade instant soup recipe which you can literally just pour the boiling water. So let me leave the link again. Ready to be enjoyed? I didn't realize this video would be this long. Thanks for hanging out with me this far. Don't forget to treat yourself with the Japanese snacks box from Boxu. Please check out the coupon code in the description box below. Thank you very much for watching and see you on the next one. Bye bye, mata ne!